Hey,
Righty.
there we go.
We
Here we
back.
go again. Welcome to another episode of UnQuantized podcast. Welcome to the same shirt show.
Wait,
Did
did you do this special?
hey,
Righty.
there you go. No writing on mine. But yeah, man, welcome to another episode of UnQuantized podcast. Today we got a lot to cover, man. We got a lot to cover. But before we get into it, bro, how was your weekend?
Man, it was actually pretty cool. It was pretty chill. I went to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And went to go chill with my brother. Shout out Just Be Man No DJ. He's working on some cool stuff. So I went out there, kick it with him, try to help him out with some stuff and see some family. So my dad pulled up on me, which was interesting. Being at a day party DJing with your dad there. It's interesting times, you know what I mean? If you would have asked me, would I be hanging with my dad in the club on Father's Day on a Sunday morning? You know what I'm saying? At a Harold's when people dancing, smoking hookah and chilling with my dad, didn't think that was gonna happen, but surprise.
Did you play new oldies?
Oh no, I was playing nothing but ratchet stuff. We had a drink. It was not a place you would expect your parent to be. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: did it affect anything that you were playing at all in any way?
Oh no, I didn't care. I had job's not finished. You know what I mean? Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? I got a job to do. I can't. He knew what time it was.
Hey, I like it. I like it, bro. This weekend, Friday, got the push 3.
Ooh, the extendo push 3.
Yes, indeed, and I'll be talking about that in a minute. But yeah, shout out to Ableton, and I'll be shouting them out again later on in the show. But shout out to Ableton for sending me the push 3, not your regular. This ain't your daddy's push 3. This is the 4 terabyte boy.
No, the comments was funny. I saw special treatment. I was like,
I saw that.
It was a great comment.
I saw that. I didn't know how to take that comment. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, it's true. It's true. I mean, but that's what you work for. You know what I mean?
That's okay. That's what I'm talking about. It's earned treatment.
Come on, man. You think I'm working this hard to get the regular stuff? No, I'm over here turned up so I get the XL. Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what's going to lead me into another thing that we'll be talking about today. But yeah, shout out to everybody that left the comment. But I got the push 3 on Friday, got into it mostly in controller mode. I didn't really mess with the standalone mode too much yet. That'll be going on tonight. I got to finish this product, the new product. I got to finish that tonight and tomorrow. Wow. So in the midst of that, I'll get into the standalone stuff, because I mean, if you think about it, that's part of the reason of what makes the push 3 special. It's 2 things that they're championing. It's the MPE, which the way I work and the way I do things, I'm probably never going to use the MPE. But I mean, shout out to the Hans Zimmer 12-finger crowd out there. They get their MPE on. That's dope. But the second thing is
what
yeah.
Is it?
Okay, MPE is the it's where you can, it's multi dimensions of a pad. So for instance, like if it's a drum on a drum pad, you can hit the pad at the top, at the bottom. From the top to the bottom is going to give you different types of sound. If you're playing a synth patch in MPE, you hold it, you could swipe your finger across all the pads while holding down that note, and it'll kind of like bend and do other things. Yeah. It's like the 5th dimension of controlling stuff, not just pitch, bend, and modulation. But it's crazy, and it's wild that if you look at the push 3, it's 60. It's really one big pad, but it's divided into 64 pads, and each of those 64 pads, as small as those pads are, depending on where you hit the pad and how you hit it and all that, the sound will be different.
See, I don't want that
if you set it up that way.
Yeah, give me my drink where it's just, I just want because I'm too clumsy for all that, bro. I'll be there all day trying to get the exact one. Just give me that one.
It's really for the Hans Zimmer type people. The people that's playing, they do a lot of expression. It's a world of expressive playing. But I'll be honest with you, you give me regular keys and a keyboard, my expression of my playing is only going to go so far. No need to even give me the super power up MPE. That's just that's just overkill for whatever I'm gonna do. So, but not utilizing that. But the standalone is the second thing that's the biggest joint about it. And it'll be interesting to be able to use the push in standalone, kind of like the old MPC days, like the old 2000 days and all that, where it's just you, the groove box, a limited screen, and you just get it rocking from there. I'm really excited about that because, to be honest with you, minus MPE, minus standalone, you kind of got a push to with different buttons. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. But the two things that they're championing are really dope. And because of the standalone, you get the hard drive in there, you get a processor. It's the actual Ableton DAW is inside of the controller now. So you don't need Ableton at all. And the dope thing about it too, to transfer stuff from your computer to your standalone push and back and forth is over Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah. It's
not the AirDrop.
dog. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can just hold. I mean, that's everything from samples to whole sessions to anything. Just back and forth over the Wi-Fi, which I think is just, bro, it's super dope. But I want the experience of sitting there with just the box and jamming out. And I've kind of deprived myself purposely of that experience because I got other things to do. And I know once I start, like I'm in there. But once again, shout out to all the people at Ableton, because not only did they send me that, but they gave me the 4 terabyte drive.
My boy got the Eddie Bauer edition.
That's a skirt on 22's push, bro. Yes, sir. So it's really dope, man.
So with it, have you tried like the sequencing? Because like for me with the Kai and like the MPC, that was like the thing I loved about it, like standalone. It's like how the workflow worked of being able to like create a scene and just turning the knob and going. Have you gotten to the standalone mode like that where you could test that out, like in the Kai?
Well, yes and no. The thing is, if you've ever used Ableton and you've ever used the push, the standalone is the exact same experience.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's literally the exact same thing as if you had your computer, minus VSTs. You can't load VSTs on it. And I saw a lot of people say, well, that's a shame. Why didn't they do that? And the truth is, it's not really on Ableton. It's on all the VST companies. And if you are to do VSTs, you have to get licenses for all of the VST companies and their VSTs. And they also potentially have to modify all of the VSTs to work with it. So for that reason, I'm guessing that's the reason you can't use VSTs. But that is a gift and a bigger gift. It's not a gift and a curse, it's a gift and a gift. Number one, for me, I mainly work with samples. And even when it comes to instruments, I'll go for a one shot before I go for a VST, because with VSTs, you got increased CPU usage, you got crashing. You know what I mean? You're going to get crashes. And with this, you don't. What does work in the Push 3 is all of Ableton's stock plugins, stock instruments, and all the Max for Live stuff, and all of your samples. So you do have a lot to work with. And I'm a sample-based producer, not just with loops and sampling stuff, but like the actual instruments and stuff that I play are also going to be samples. So yeah, and it's a limitation that it puts on you. But the limitations for me are the best part, because like I said, it takes you back to the days of just you and a groove box, and the limitations make you work in a different way. Think about it. If you couldn't use Omnisphere, if you couldn't use Trillion or whatever, I don't know why I'm stuck on Spectrasonics VSTs right now, but if you couldn't use those things while you made a beat, what would you do? And this is the answer to that. And it's not only what would you do if you could only use samples and Ableton stock stuff, but it's what would you do if you could only use samples and Ableton stock stuff and have immense functionality. You have a limited set of sounds and things that you could work with, but all the functionality and things that you could do with those sounds is pretty much limitless. So, it excels you in one way and it limits you in another way. And that alone is going to make you think completely different.
Hey, when people are messing up, I feel like we say something. So I feel like I have to say something when they're doing it right. Hey, to me, I haven't tested it out. So I can't say all the way, but to me, it looks like they're taking chances. They going Miss Frizzle, dog. You know what I'm saying? They taking chances, trying to get messy, dog. You know what I mean? The standalone, that's impressive to me. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
Wi-Fi joint, that's impressive because that's not, especially the standalone, because it's not Ableton's bag, right? They're not like known for like, the greatest sound, and that's not what they're known for. They're known for like making great DAWs. So to move in
Right.
that space is like, it's daring. I appreciate it. See, that's what I want from companies. At least try to do stuff. If it fails, okay, I understand, right?
Yes.
But at least try to do different stuff. And I hope more companies kind of take that kind of initiative of like at least doing something new. You know what I mean? Like that's what we want to
Yeah.
see. Like I'm interested in the push 3. Bro, I'm back on Free Loop. Now I'm over here looking like get
Like it
on, get
might be
on.
something
Yeah.
might be something to this. And with it being standalone, it's true standalone where it also has a battery in it. So
Oh,
there's no use for cables at all, except for maybe headphones. That's it. Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, dog. So I think it's really dope. I can't wait to get into the standalone mode. It's gonna be super fire, bro.
You gonna
It's,
stream while you making beats any?
oh yeah. I'm gonna do
Crazy.
another one of those live sets. I gotta load it up. I'm gonna do another one of those live sets. And you know me, I gotta take things to the extreme. So I'm thinking the next one I'm gonna do, I may use two pushers.
And the third one, you gonna set something on fire.
Facts. But yeah, I'm thinking about having the push 2 as a tethered version and the push 3 as a standalone version, and then rocking out like that. But even if I don't, I want to use the push 3. But the buttons, it's different buttons, and some buttons are in a different place. And I'm big on muscle memory, so I got to get my muscle memory with the push 3. But I feel like a solid 2 hours straight or hour straight or something with that, my muscle memory will be there, and I won't be on there messing up. Because when I do my live thing, I like to be fluid. I don't ever like to stop the music. I'm never using a metronome. Nothing. It's kind of like DJing, and it's kind of like making beats, just
Or
combined into one thing.
yeah, you be going off, bro. I was like, bro, I don't know how you do it, bro.
My dog.
It's just like
Appreciate
that
it. Yeah.
next idea just kind of flowing to the next. It's like a Drake album. You know how the Drake beats just like they start flowing to. You're like, how did I get here, bro?
Facts. That first one I did about 3 weeks ago, it was 4 hours.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was 4. And then the second one I did was like 2 hours. So I'm trying to limit myself to do an hour, but I'll be in the zone. And I look up, another hour done passed, and I'm like, I'm still going.
Or
Yeah, bro. So I mean, check it out. I know you FL'd up nowadays. But if you ever get back into the Ableton realm, man, we see what we can do.
yeah, I need to check it out. I haven't been messing with Ableton as much. Every once in a while, I would like DJ and like kind of on DJ stuff. I would do it, but like
Yeah,
not much on production. But hey, I'm looking to get creative, so I'm open. I'm open to trying whatever's new out.
dog. Completely worth it to me. Now so people have asked me, who is the push 3 for? I'll say, to get the most out of it, and with the price point. I mean, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm able to man, but the price point is $2,000, right? So if you're gonna spend $2,000, you're going, that's a hefty investment. So if you never used Ableton before, could you get the push 3? Should you get the push 3? Yeah, but make a commitment. It's not like a VST. A lot of people approach even new gear like a cracked VST. Like, oh, I'm gonna open it up, I'm gonna mess with it for a minute, and then I'm gonna put it away. And that's not what this is. And for $2,000, you shouldn't even treat it like that. But if you have Ableton, you are really into Ableton, great investment. Great investment. And the next thing that people ask me is, how does it sound? Because the talk of sound when it comes to hardware is a big thing right now. It sounds good, but now in terms of like beefy sounds and like the converter talk and everything that's going on, shout out to EA Ski. It's not that, but I also tell people, if you use Ableton, this is the first thing Ableton has ever made, the first controller they ever made, or anything ever that they ever made that actually puts out sound and has outputs and inputs on it. So it's not meant to be that. And anybody that uses Ableton is normally a nerd, so they already have a way to route their stuff out, route their stuff in and get it to sound the way that they want it to sound.
Yeah, that makes sense though.
Yeah, it's super dope. Matter of fact, I just got two ADAC cables that just came in the mail right before we got on. So I'm gonna hook up the ADAT joints with my interface too, and the ADATs give you 8 additional inputs and outputs too. So,
you going crazy, dog?
Oh yeah, no, it's about to go. It's about to be super stupid in here. Yeah.
Did you see this joint? So with the Grammys, they changing the rules for AI art or like AI music, anything involving AI. So they're putting like basically safeguards that that it can't. Which I mean, it makes sense, right? So okay, it says the Recording Academy established new rules for the use of artificial intelligence that can be nominated for Grammys. So Harvey Mason, shout out to Harvey if y'all don't know, the Underdogs.
Yes, sir.
Man, Amarion O, all them R&B ballads, Harvey Mason, Damon Thompson, the GOATs. But he runs the Grammys now. He's like, I want to say he's like CEO of the Recording Academy.
Okay, shout.
But yeah, if it's a singing voice or AI singing voice or AI instrumentation, it will be considered. However, in a songwriting based category, the song must have been written mostly by a human. Wow, mostly. Wow.
What?
So basically,
so does that count the prompts?
That's tricky, bro. That's a tricky, slippery slope, man. Because I feel like okay, say for example, if I generated chords in AI and then I just played a melody over top of that, and I just took that idea, is that like, yeah, the human aspect is there because I changed it, but the AI did a bulk of it, right? So is that the majority, or like who's the majority? You know what I'm saying? How do you dictate like her song of like that's the majority? You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, I see that getting out of hand.
Yeah.
I see that getting out of hand. And how do you take account for what was done by a human and how much was done by the AI? Because for instance, if I have the AI, right, just it's not able to do this yet, but just do an entire album for me, vocals, music, and mixing, right? That's a lot. But what if I wrote a 40-page prompt to make all that happen? Who did most of the work?
Still the AI, but
right. But who knows who did what?
Right.
Who knows how much I put into it?
Because that's where it gets tricky. Because even now, when we're doing songs, bro, the biggest argument in the studio is publishing splits, right? And who does what. So you're adding another layer of difficulty of you or the AI versus you versus the people. I feel like now it's going to be even more kind of confusing and like, and then two, how many people are going to be like, yo, I did use this? I mean, I'm sure they got ways where you could tell. It's ways probably to detect certain things. But I'm sure just like it's ways to detect it, it's ways to get around it too. So I'm sure it's gonna be a group of people who never say anything about it. And then it's like, what do you do in those situations? Like, it's like the new drug testing of like sports. It's like, yo, it's always gonna be somebody's gonna find some new tech and they can get under the radar and they can win a bunch. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what do you do in those circumstances?
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, bro. It's gonna get super weird. It's going to get super weird because if it's one thing we know about technology and things like this, it's ways around everything.
That's right.
Remember when they came out with the AI detection software recently?
Yeah.
Like the next day, you saw a bunch of prompts how to circumvent AI detection.
Every time, as soon as they figure out one way, somebody's gonna patch. They're gonna figure out a way around it, and then they're gonna patch it. It's always gonna happen.
Hey man, I'm gonna sit back and brace for the controversy for whoever wins #1 AI album, and then all the arguments that are gonna come against why it's not a true AI album or why the person didn't really do it and the AI did it. You know,
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's going to be crazy for like 2 years. They're not going to figure it out. And once they figure it out, it's not even really going to be a thing anymore. Not the AI, but just the focus on who did what. I feel like it's going to be so commonplace at that point. It's not going to matter.
Did you see? To me, this is a little far. It was a church, and they were generating. So the whole sermon was Chat GPT, and then they generated the people to speak in the message, and the voice was all AI. And it was just a whole group of people just sitting in this church, listening to an AI sermon. I was like, okay, that's a little weird because it's just I don't know something about it just is so unnatural. Like you know what I mean? I feel like you're
Yeah.
playing with something you shouldn't be playing with. To me, it was a little weird, but
Damn.
it's
Supernatural meets supercomputer.
yeah. Oh, that's a good movie.
Ooh. Wait, was it this is gonna kind of matter. Was it a white church or a black church?
Oh, come on.
Okay. So if it's a black church, let's safely assume
Whatever you think the
let's
answer is, that's
safely
what it is.
let's safely assume it's a black Baptist church. But
Yeah.
there to me, there has to be X amount of human element involved.
Yeah.
If it sounded genuine and it was like soulful, come on, man. I figure there's an old Baptist preacher and his grandson who's doing the AI, and they're somehow working this out.
It's some young preacher who just learned about chat. He's like, I'm about to go off. I'm about to snap.
Yeah.
I'm about to show them what's up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the same preachers that use song lyrics, new age song lyrics in their sermon. It's gonna be a hot girl summer for some of y'all.
Now y'all going to Pound Town.
Yo, the pastor say Pound Town, I'm leaving.
Yeah, it's bad. That's such a
My hard bottoms are on the floor and I'm out of here.
Pound Town is such a wild song to hear out, bro. Like I'm probably gonna go to the club tonight, right? And I've only been to the club a couple times lately. But hearing that song out is a wild song because if you know that song, I'm not even gonna say the lyrics, but she refers to certain parts of her body being brown. And hearing a room full of girls scream that out is a wild thing to be in. It's just like, why? It's weird. It's interesting times we're living in, bro. Interesting.
So tell me if I'm off topic with this transition, but that may lead into the next thing. We briefly touched on it last week.
I was scared.
No #1 hip hop songs on Billboard this year yet.
Yeah, it's trippy, bro. I feel like this is like a weird time in like hip hop, and I feel like I don't want hip hop and rap to be like rock and roll. Like it's weird to think about like how rock and roll for me as a kid, I grew up on Nirvana. I grew up on like that's what I
Lil Bon
listened to.
Jovi?
Bro, I mean, more Nirvana. I was more a little, I mean, even as far as like indie, like Panic at the Disco, that kind of vibes, right? I was
Gotcha.
listening to all that kind of stuff growing up, but then the genre just disappeared. And I didn't understand why until I got older. And it's just like, man, that's crazy how a whole genre just kind of vanished. And I think people got so cocky with rap that we don't think that could happen. But the same thing happened with rock. Rock was like the joint, bro. Like these rock acts still are touring. They're still doing their thing, but as a genre, it's like completely gone. Like, you know what I mean? Like it disappeared. And I don't want that to happen to rap. And I feel like we have to get back to the quality of music. It's got to be some kind of middle ground because now I feel like we're all racing to the bottom, right? We're all just like, it's a speed contest. It's like, how fast can we do it? And it's like, it's cool, but like nothing is catchy. And I don't like, bro, I feel so out of it, bro. I feel like, I don't know if it's an age thing or is it like just the circumstances, but I don't love any songs that come out. I don't love anything. And I hate it, bro. I don't want to just only listen to old songs that I grew up with. And I don't know if it's because I'm attached because I grew up with them, but any of this new stuff, bro, it's like, it's cool. But I don't have that. I haven't heard many songs where I'm like attached to, like where I'm like, ooh, I need to hear this song. It's just like, that was cool. And I go about my day.
So, okay. So that's kind of getting into what I wanted to talk about. I'm happy that you went there. I think we should take a second to explore the reasons why we think this is happening. And partially, like you said, it's the way I sum it up, and it's like what you said, everything now is kind of like fast food. You know what I mean? You can make a song so easy. You could put out the song so easy. It's not a lot of commitment. It's not a lot of effort. Also, I think trend hopping has a lot to do with it, because if one person does something and then another person does the same thing and another person does the same thing, and the original source of that copying was not made with a lot of effort, was not made with a lot of integrity, was not made with a lot of authenticity, you get copies that are lesser than that source most of the time, and they're all bred from the same thing.
Right.
And it's, so now we get the same lesser song over and over and over again, and it's also being rewarded by streams, by this, by that. Because if I can get my stuff out faster, and it sounds like this one thing that was trending,
Right.
I want to trend. So why would I spend the time putting through effort, blood, sweat, and tears, trying to be different, when I could just do whatever this thing was, and I could achieve that? But at the same time, like you said, it's a race to the bottom. Look at record sales. Record sales back in the day. Okay, now if somebody did, let's say, 120,000,
That's huge now.
dog.
It's crazy.
Going gold back in the day, which was 500,000. That was, you did all right.
Yeah, it was like almost like, oh man,
you was cool. Yeah, you were cool. But unless you went platinum or multi-platinum, you weren't part of the elite conversation. Now you can do less than a 6-digit overall sales numbers from your album, and you killed it. Like you said, it's a race to the bottom. And now what we getting is fan fatigue, because what comes from people just doing the same thing over and over again, not really putting a whole bunch of effort into it, hurrying up and throwing it out, because I could just put out another one tomorrow. It may work for you in the short term, but now the fans is starting to wear on them now. Now you're getting fan fatigue to where people don't respect songs, people don't care about songs, and the shelf life of the best songs, the most popular songs, might be a couple of weeks. Okay, I'll give you 3 months to be at the top of the conversation. Whereas songs used to be played, one single off one hit album would be played for an entire year.
Exactly.
Yeah, everything is just so disposable, and it's of a lesser quality. And while it worked, now we're reaping all of that effortlessness. Now it's coming back to bite us, to where we're not number one on the charts anymore.
And it's weird because I feel like okay, it's a bunch of examples of that fast method working, right? But it's also a bunch of examples of people who took their time and it still works. You look at a Bruno Mars, you look at an Anderson .Paak, you listen to SZA, all these records, when you hear them, it don't sound like this is a quick record. These are very thought out. You could tell these records took months. Like any other, you could tell that it just sounds polished, and that's why those records last, right? Like any song that I think of that like stuck is like a Bruno Mars, a Miguel, where it's like a lot of thought and production to it, because you could tell that they're going back through and they're fixing little parts. I heard that when Bruno did Finesse, that they changed the drums like it was like 20 times, and they kept just redoing it. Like they had it and they were like, nah, that's not right, and then they would just keep redoing it until they got it like perfect. But that's what that song sounds like. It sounds like, I thought about this song for months, and boom, it's like almost perfect. And that's why that song is always gonna stick. And I feel like people got to understand it. In music, different business models work, right? So if it's working for one person, it doesn't mean that everybody has to do that one business model, right? It's Walmart, it's Target, you know what I'm saying? And it's Dollar Tree. They're all pretty much the exact same thing, same business. It's just the angle that they're going for. Target is more upscale, like convenience. Walmart is, we just gonna make a bunch, but we gonna try to get you to buy a lot. And then Dollar Tree is, we gonna make it seem like a bargain, but you really ain't getting that much. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I feel like it's places for that in rap and music, but everybody just goes to the bottom. Everybody's Dollar Tree. And that's what the issue is. It's nobody wants to be Target, nobody wants to be Walmart, nobody wants to be Sam's Club, nobody wants to be, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we're all going to be Dollar Tree.
like I said probably on the last show, we have a tendency to saturate everything at the ground level now. Like whatever the easiest, most low-hanging fruit is, we're gonna do that to death, even when it doesn't work anymore, because it's so effortless. And now everybody's creative muscle is just atrophied. If if hip hop was a person in the gym, we couldn't lift 20 pounds. Whereas back in the day, we could lift 1,000 pounds. But we just haven't worked out in so long, and now it's proven. And everybody that you just named, 1,000,000% correct. None of them were hip hop artists.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a single one.
And you know, the hip hop artists we loved for taking his time on records, who doesn't, I mean, still to me is like kind of does it, but not as much, was Kanye. It's like we love that about Kanye, that you could tell that he took a mad long on these records. You hear a Pharrell record,
Yep.
it sounds like it took a long time. Like,
Yep.
you know, when a record, and don't get me wrong, it's a genius in songs that is like so simple and it's like just a moment. Like when you hear a song, like to me, Teach Me How to Dougie, it's one of those beats. If I would have made it, I would have thought it was like the worst beat in the world. But it's such a hit. It's like when you hear it, it's like, oh, this is jamming. But probably the energy in the room, the people, it all made it a vibe. But if I made it by myself, I'd be like, this shit is trash, dog. What the hell is this, right?
1,000,000%. With songs like that, I hear the marketing. I hear the system still being intact. And with the Kanye and Pharrell thing, you are 1,000,000% right. The one thing I'll point out about them both is they're over 40, which means they are from the time where people put effort into stuff. Right. So now they may seem like unicorns in today's age because they're from that time, but they're still making high quality music. Right. But it's not, I can't think of any, not to say that there aren't any, but there aren't any people, I will say 30 and under that I can see doing this, or I could say like, yo, that album, they really put the time in. You know what I mean?
I would say Metro, definitely. Because Metro, like that last, I don't know if you heard that Heroes versus Villains joint.
I didn't, but I heard nothing but good things about it.
Production, incredible. The Spider-Man joint he did, incredible. Like you could tell he studies the greats and he understands what it takes, and like it's very thought out. It's very like, you know what I mean? He's the only, I don't want to say the only one, but he's like, to me, leading the forefront with that. And it's, you know, of course, like Southside, I feel like is a balance of like vibe and skill. Like he got his beats to me is just like vibey, but you could hear the skill. You know that he's talented. You know what it is, but it's like, you know, I feel like he's more on the quicker side of putting out a bunch. But it's, to me, it's like it's nothing wrong with doing either side. It's just we have to have a duality. It can't be just everybody does one type of beat. Everybody does one type. That's what I think ruins it. Is like it's no like duality anymore. It's like it used to be people who sold beats online, people who did placements, people who did syncs, and it was like kind of separate, and everybody kind of like, I mean, you intermingled and but it was like duality. It was differences. But now everybody's like follows whatever the current trend is. If everybody's doing sync, everybody jumps on sync. If everybody makes the exact same sync kind of stuff. Everybody's doing trap. Everybody's gonna make the same DaBaby type beat, and we're gonna wear this 808 out until it's uncool anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Dog, I have that in my notes. The 808 thing, I have that actually in my notes. Before I get to that though, another reason why I think too is that the best music, I'll make the charts and radio synonymous with each other for this point.
Right.
The best music is not on the radio anymore, or it's not on the charts. So you gotta look for it. And I feel like the people that may be taking that time and maybe making the best music is not on the charts because they're not trying to get on the charts, because they see what labels, companies, all of them are pushing to be on the chart. So a lot of those people that do take the time are like, I'm just going to do things independently. I'm gonna put it out here. And the people that rock with me. So it's not like it's, even though most of the hip hop we talked about may not be chart worthy in terms of this conversation, there is a lot that is, but those people aren't aiming for that. And the companies aren't trying to put them there because it's just, it's not profitable and it doesn't fit the fast flip type of trend. So now you really got to dig deep. you know, and find your own stuff. You can't just go to the place where all music is and find the best stuff anymore. And that's kind of sad, because that's how it's been. Like, usually the cream will rise to the top, and the top was the radio, and the top was the charts. But now the charts, I just see marketing and companies and trends, and not necessarily good music. But you talked about the 808, and I'm thinking about in my notes I have the Spins 808. That's all I have in my notes. But it's like, who dares to not use that 808 now? Who dares to be different? And the incentive to be different is not there for you if you're looking for validation from outside of yourself or outside of your fan base. If you're trying to get up here, where the up here people are, let's say the currently who is like a Ice Spice or somebody like that, you're going to keep using the Spins 808, or you're going to keep using the such and such sound and this sound because you see it winning. And there's no incentive to be different. It's no incentive to get on the sound that nobody is on. Whereas prior to now, and it's a shame that everything got to be back in the day, because it sounded like an old nigga conversation, but it's not. It was just more effort, and being different and striving to be more than what you hear was the thing to do. That was the pattern to follow, and the incentive for doing that was there.
How you want was separating yourself from everybody else. It's like, all right, Tim just came out with this crazy Indian joint. If I'm gonna do an Indian joint, I got to do it completely left from what he did at different tempo. And that's how people thought then. It was like, all right, he did this, so I'm gonna go over here, which I love. Like, even when you think about Diddy and doing the remixes, he was taking all the ballads and then making them. That was such a great time, bro. Because it's like, we love these songs, and then I'm gonna make them even funner. And then you can hear the song in the club. It was like genius with the time. But I feel like we're getting away from that. And even with the mashups and stuff, bro. I don't know if you're on TikTok, and I feel like I'm hating on music, but I want to love music, dog. I want to be in a spot where I'm like, ooh, I'm excited about an album or something, but I'm just not, bro. Like, I heard a mashup, and this is like, bro, you took an old song and you put a new song over top of it. It's not creative. It's just you loop something. It's like, we all could do this. We all understand, but it's just like, they blow up, and this is like, damn, do I do this? Do I do this? Is this what it takes? I could do this all day, but I don't enjoy it. It's not creative to me. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's weird, bro. It's weird.
So, like, what would it take for a turnaround, or are we just doomed to, we're just going to keep falling?
I just think the collective of the reward for going to the bottom, it's one of those things that we're not going to realize until it's too late. And then it's going to be like, but I feel like too many people are winning off of making like gimmick, like Tekashi 6ix9ine, perfect example. Or another example, his name is Mabu. I want to say he went to a private school, white kid, but he makes drill music about shooting, killing. But he's such a genius, bro. Apparently, the kid was like a marketing, so he could help musicians with marketing. That was how he started in high school, right? So then he came and started doing his own stuff and just understood it, bro. So he understands how to make conflict. He understands how to shoot a video. It's outside of, I don't like the context of what he's talking about. Just looking at it as a marketer, incredible, really great stuff, right? And
how's the music?
It's good. That's the thing. His music is good. It's just, he understands that this is a gimmick, and he understands how to play it. And I feel like those work now, because we reward it, right? Because when Tekashi's back crazy, we reward it. When all these blue faces beefing and doing all this drama, we reward it because we pay attention, right? But they're encouraged to do more of it, which kind of adds to the flame. So it's like, we say we don't like it, but we have to ignore it if we don't like it. That's the only way you could get rid of it. But I don't think people are going to ignore it, because people are so good at, gaining attention now. People understand how to like cause drama and do whatever to get us to click now. So it's like,
I think attention is currency now.
The click is first and the music is second, to where it used to be the music was first and everything else followed. Now the music is like fifth in line, which makes it.
But now it sounds like it, and no one cares. And I'm not saying no one, because obviously we're on here, we're caring. But look at the age we are. Fortunately and unfortunately, we're talking about hip hop, and hip hop has always been youth driven. So really, it's on the youth. So until the youth care about the things that we're talking about, none of this makes a difference. Because OGs could step up and lead the charge and blah, blah, blah. What you're going to end up is more great music from OGs that you have to find not on the charts.
Sure.
Perfect example. One of, if not the best hip hop album that has been dropped this year came out last week. Killer Mike's album.
I heard it was great.
Bro, let me tell you something. That album, whether you ever listen to Killer Mike or not, it's executive produced by No ID. Shout out to No ID.
Fire. I didn't know that.
Yes. And shout out to Tech Beats. Tech Beats got a song in there too.
Oh, shout out
but
to hey,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Whether you rock with it or not, when you listen to that album from the first second to the last second, you hear nothing but effort, professionalism, musicality, perfect collabs. You hear the no, let's change this out 20 times. You hear all it, bro. It's gospel choirs, it's all types of instrumentation, it's dope samples, it's crazy drums. The lyrics, of course, are crazy. Like, it's such a well put together hip-hop album. It's shocking. Not shocking like you don't expect a good thing from it, but it's shocking in terms of what we've been getting. You almost forgot that this thing exists, and then I almost forgot that this type of thing used to be the norm.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's a shame. It's like you eat some bomb home cooking and you're like, yo, this tastes amazing. And then you're like, damn, wait, every meal I used to eat growing up tasted like this. But I've been eating damn dino nuggets for 10 years. And I almost forgot that this is regular great food. So it's wild. So anybody that's listening to this, whether it's now or on the replay, listen to the Killer Mike album if you haven't already, and you will immediately hear what I'm talking about. We did a test, a barbershop test in the barbershop. You play that, you play a whole bunch of stuff that recently came out, night and day difference in terms of effort. And people's ears, you don't hear how many records somebody's going to sell. You just know whether it sounds good or not. And bro, it sounds great.
I think the issue is people get it confused of, I don't think the issue is that people make like a certain type of record. I think the issue is everybody only makes that certain type. Like, I shouldn't hear 20 Little Durks. Like, if Little Durk exists, that's fine. Cool. It's not for me, but I get why it works, right?
Right.
I shouldn't hear 50 songs that all sound the exact same. Like, it's a rapper named Finesse 2 times, and then it's another dude. Big Boogie. Bro, they sound exact. I kept getting confused about whose record it was. I'm like, bro, wait, isn't this dude? And it's like, no, that's the other dude. But they got the same voice, same BPM, same tempo. It's like, bro, how am I supposed to? And it's like they both came out at the same time. And it's a trap record. You know, it's only gonna talk about, I got money, I got cars, I got girls.
Y'all ate while I starved. People I thought was my friends ain't my friends no more. You know, the standard.
And it's like, and I love ratchet records. If y'all know me, I want the most ratchet hood rat songs. I love them all. But I just want some good stuff to mix in between that's all I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me more vegetables and you know, and rice. Don't just, you know what I'm saying? It's not just about the steak. Y'all gonna steak it out. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. Great steakout.
First, we got Masada. He says, I never get noticed when y'all stream. Respect. Love the show. You got noticed, my brother.
Hey, what's that, young Masada?
Yes, sir. Shout out to Masada.
What up, brother? What up, brother?
We got hold on real quick. We got DJ 912. He says, what about Hit Boy? Hit Boy, great example.
Perfect example.
Man. And to me, him and Metro are like the new leaders. All right. I'm sure there's other people I could add in there that I'm probably forgetting. But to me, like, when I think of new young energy in production, and I mean, to me and Hit, I think we like the same age. I feel like he's like like the NBA. It's like when you're in like your late 20s, 30s, that's your prime. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's when producers get great. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, so when I think of Pharrell and all that, they was in like their 20s, bro. Like, they were perfect time. And I feel like Hit Boy is like at that age. If he went through his early stuff and worked through that, and you know, that story is crazy of him coming from Polo and Bad Deals to doing, you know, all that, you know, the Paris joint, and going from that to like building. That's incredible, dog. I seen he had a record with his pops.
His whole album, I believe.
And his pops was going crazy. I'm like, yo, this is incredible, dog. So, you know, to me, that's incredible. But I feel like more people need to admire that, right? That aspect of it. Because to me, when I think of Hit Boy, I don't think of just trap records, even though he's really good at making trap records. I think of hip hop, I think of the Nas stuff, his R&B
Right.
stuff is cold. I think of pop. People don't know Hit Boy on pop records is
Oh,
cold, bro. Like,
since back in the day.
bro, to me, that's what when I first started listening to him and Chasing Cash, they were killing the pop and R&B records. To me, they was
Yep.
like going crazy on that lane, bro. And of course, the hip
Hmm.
hop and the rap joints are always great. Like, of course, that's that's what they do. But I feel like it's not a thing anymore. I feel like most producers don't want to do all of that anymore. Like, I wanted to be a pop producer. I didn't
You
really
killed
want to
it,
be an R&B producer. You know what I'm saying? My goal was to be Max Martin. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like it's weird. I don't hear about that as much. It's like people want to be diversified and make
bro.
different stuff.
The
Yeah.
range is very important. And I was gonna point that out too. Like when it comes to Hit Boy, it's first of all, it's it's a high quantity of
Mhm.
quality output.
Right.
That's a unicorn now.
Oh, he's talented.
But yeah, but I was gonna say like the range, but it also comes with where you're from. I remember early Hit Boy days and seeing him in LA, and we were kind of around some of the same people. And I come from that. I was working with Polo, working with Timberland, and all these other people. And if you just look at the sheer range of those people, you had to be able to do all of that. If you were gonna run in that circle, you had to know how to do pop stuff, R&B stuff, hip hop stuff, all types of stuff, even country stuff. Like you just had to have a vast range and a great ear for music. Now, with that being said, though, even in having that range today, the 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 difference between current R&B and current hip hop is very little now.
Or
R&B acts are almost rapping and rappers are singing. So the range is limited, but even with that range being so limited now, people still don't want to have that range. And it's not even that far of a stretch like it was back in the day to go from Nas to Pussycat Dolls.
or
Now it's kind of like it's all the same, but a producer that produces trap will only do a certain trap style. And like that's all they do. And that's all that they copy. And I think the versatility getting back into it is very important because people don't like that grows your musicality. And to be able to do that, you get more opportunities in more places. But once again, back to what's being incentivized, that doesn't seem, at least to me, to be incentivized by anyone. And the fans are misleading. I'm talking for us producers now. The fans are not on purpose, but subconsciously misleading the producers because they love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. But at a certain point, and you won't get noticed, they're going to get tired of it. And that's when you get no number ones on the chart anymore because fans are fatigued now. They loved you yesterday, but then they woke up today and realized, I'm kind of sick of this. I want to play this, or I want to play that, or I'll have no more of this. And without notice, now look where we at.
It's like the baby. At first, when he came out, everybody's like, "Oh, I love this flow," and then it was like, "All right, he raps the same."
Yeah.
It's like they turned on him. It was like, no, you kept asking for it. You kept requesting that he did songs like this because every time you would put one out, you rewarded, right? And then, all right, you got tired, and then it's like, okay, but it's like I guess for him now it's got to be hard, or any producer that's like gets
I'm
on a run.
imagining.
Yeah, if like say for example like Scott Storch and people like, oh, we off the strings, bro. We ain't doing that no more. It's like, bro, I've dedicated this whole, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's got to be tough. So you got it. So if you're not Scott Storch and you're not like versatile, because Scott can figure out a different thing like that. Like I tell
Right.
people all the time, I've seen a lot of people play keyboards. Scott Storch in real life is the best musician I've ever seen of just making melodies. I've never seen anybody better than Scott Storch. And I've been around some people, bro. And I
Mhm.
don't think nobody would be mad at me for saying that, bro. Like I literally watched Scott make like 20 melodies that were incredible and then just like throw them away. Just like, huh. So like he's
Natural
got,
talent.
he's got the talent to back up the variety, but I just feel like people have to invest more in the talent side and or even if you're not the greatest, like collab, but like push boundaries. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's what this is about. Like feel like we're just in a stagnant kind of place with music, which is, it's frustrating, man. I want to hear beats where I'm right. And one thing I love is hearing a song and it confuses you. Have you ever heard a beat and it like throw you off? You like, well, how did you
Oh yes, sir.
bro?
It make you stop, make you pull over on the side of the road.
That feeling, bro. I love being like in a club and you hear a song and it's like loud and the bass is hitting you and then it confuses you, or you hit a bridge and you're like, bro, wait, what is going
What
on?
is this?
Bro, that
Right.
is to me one of the top tier things in on earth. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I don't get that as much. And it's like I fiend for that like surpriseness in music, and it's like it's not there, bro. So, hopefully people want to cook up and make some crazy stuff because we gave this rant about music being trash.
Indeed. Okay, so you want to go through some topics, and then through some comments if there are any new comments, and then I got another topic kind of related but a different topic.
Bad. Let's see. See. They don't do it in country music at all. Sounds all the same to me as well. But here's the thing though. If you really listen to country, it don't all sound the same, bro. Because it's like they got the ballads and they got like the slide kind of joints. Country low key be kind of sliding, bro. They got ranges, dog. And then now it's the more trap kind of country, and then it's the classic. It's the more southern country. I grew up in the sticks, so I done heard country songs my whole life, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like me DJing, if you're not playing country records, you're not DJing the party correctly. Where I grew up.
Also, country as a genre and in terms of their fan base is a more traditional fan base. You have to think our fan base or our culture and our music really dictates what's cool. And if you look at just defining what is cool, is usually defining what is in now. With country, it's kind of like, no, this is what we talk about. This is what we do. But with us, we're like, we set the tone. We do the new. But the new is all old at this point. It's being redone. And the country fan base is not as, I'll use the word fickle, not as fickle as our fan base. The country fan base will ride with you forever. Just like the rock fan base. That genre died, and those artists are able to still tour. This genre will not die, and the people that were successful right now will not be able to tour in 20 years.
Yeah, that's think about that. Scary, bro. It's like it's a lot of artists, bro, that in a year or two they ain't gonna know what to do. And it's like as a DJ, bro, it's like some of these TikTok records you can't play because outside of the 15 seconds, nobody knows what the song is.
Right.
And so it makes it so difficult because it's like you're banking on that 15 seconds to kind of carry your whole career. And it's like, bro, people forget, bro, unless you're really an immaculate songwriter and you can make those 15 seconds really stick in somebody's head, it's going to be hard for you, bro. And it's like, can you follow that up? And, we know how hard it is to get one. It's like, so to follow that up is super difficult, bro. And it's like, people don't understand how much work all this takes. And it's like, like, for example, I caught a big placement, but I wasn't ready. I tell people all the time, musically, I wasn't, to me, the best producer, but I got a big placement, right? But then what that did is it put me in situations where I was like, I had to grow. It's either I would had to adapt or I was going to get left behind. Because then it's like I went from making beats on my free time and just doing it as a hobby to like, I got 3 sessions a day. So it's like I had to learn how to make beats in the room with people, right? And I had to learn how to like work with musicians because it's like the opportunity is like boom. So it's like either take advantage of it and learn, or you're gonna fall off. What, bro? I still did like I could have did way better looking back, but I imagine how hard it is for people to figure this out, and so it's like I think we just got to do better as the music community of doing our due diligence as like musicians, right? Like have some respect and like to me, I love production, man. Like making beats, if I take 6 months off making beats or a year, I would always love making beats, bro. It's like a part of me,
right?
So I respect it so much that I want it to be great, and I feel like if everybody had that same respect, we'd be in a much better place. But
facts though.
The world.
Facts. So hold on, let me check these comments real quick.
Says y'all have some of the most interesting and intelligent combos in this space. Hey man. Hey,
dog, thank you, brother.
Bro. I appreciate that.
Man, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you.
That's a good ass comment.
Right. Copy and paste.
Right.
Yeah.
DJ 12 said Trizza want to hear that Suki. Hey, Suki got the right time and place. Hey, throw that joint on. You know what I mean? But
Listen.
I just don't want to hear Suki all the time. If it's 8 in the morning and I'm trying to, take my daughter to school, I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? So I need something in those spaces. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what I think people got to figure out is those spaces.
Yeah. I think, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say about this topic. I just feel like the work ethic, and a lot of people talk about work ethic, work ethic, work ethic. I've been in sessions with newer artists, and I've been in sessions with older seasoned artists. Night and day. Just because y'all working the same amount of hours don't mean you have the same work ethic. I've been in sessions with Beyonce for 3 months, sessions with Justin Timberlake for 3 months, Babyface, LA Reid, Tim, Jay-Z. I've seen real work ethic and had to be a part of real work ethic. And what I see when I'm in sessions for newer artists, it just don't come close. Like, you wouldn't even be allowed in the room with some of the people that I just mentioned. It's really crazy. But saying all that to say, moving on to a different topic but similar, that producer culture post, which really is a Illmind post.
Shout out to Illmind.
Yeah, shout out to Illmind. I'm gonna try to summarize what it was about, and please help me out because I know my paraphrasing is about to be terrible on this. But basically, in a nutshell, it was about how the producer culture is becoming or is devalued now. Would you say that that's what it was in a nutshell?
Yeah, pretty much 100%. He says, okay, hold on, I'm about to read. He says, my thoughts on why the producer community is underpaid and why soundtrack industry have decreased significantly in the past 5 years. And then basically he's saying, race to the bottom, who could be more cheaper? Two, why pay 30 when you can get an alternative for free? So basically, I ain't gonna read the whole thing because it's a lot, but he's basically saying we keep going to the bottom, we keep kind of undercutting, we're not putting value on anything. So if everybody's dropping down, you know what I'm saying? It's like when somebody is trying to charge even a standard price, it's like, oh, you're taxing. It's like, no, bro, this is the normal. 30 is normal for a sample pack. This other stuff isn't normal. And it's like, so now the value is driven so low that it's like the business is kind of bad. And I feel like both of us can speak. It's definitely changed a lot from when we first got into the business. You know what I mean? It's like, it's definitely not the same at all. But luckily we've had other stuff to kind of, like balance it out and do other, it's like, I know what these kind of things is seasons because I've been in business for a while. So it's like, I know it's like season where it's working and it's going to be a downfall. But
that's a fact.
Like, the producers are kind of causing this to speed up. And it's like, we keep doing this with everything. And it's like, we have to get out of this mindset. If everybody's selling type beats, everybody goes to the bottom of undercutting. People start selling sample packs, everybody goes to the bottom. And it's like, bro, we have to stop doing that. Like,
and I feel like it's mostly caused by two types of people. New people who jump in and have no skin in the game, therefore have no investment, therefore don't care. And the second person is the person that's acting out of desperation.
right.
And what happens is you jump into the industry and you undercut. You're not really making any money because there's money to be made. As a person who's been in this, I don't even know how. I was doing sound design before I was even on the internet at Sound Oracle, before I was even called Sound Oracle. I was doing the exact same thing with the biggest producers in the industry. So I was in the industry first before I came to the internet. Whereas most people, you get on the internet, then you try to get to the industry. So I saw the difference there. But even then, moving into this, very fruitful, just a lot going on. But now what happens is when these people get in, they undercut, you're not really making any money and you're undercutting so much. and you fail to realize that we are all interconnected in the same ecosystem. So the more you undercut, you kill the ecosystem that you were juicing in the first place. So now you won't be able to juice it for any more money because you totally devalued the whole thing. Yeah. And that's kind of where we're at. And I just feel like there should be, and Ilman's post was great. There should be a call for more integrity. You got to have integrity, because in this culture, everyone screams, get the bag, handle your business. And we're handling our business the worst. And we're not getting the bag. We getting the Crown Royal bag with the pennies in it. Like, come on, man. Royal. That's the bag you racing for. Come on. Free this, free. Now, there's a place and a time, and there's a marketing tactic to free.
Right.
But you do know that sparingly, that's strategic. But if you get in and you free all the time, you train the customer base to look for free. And go ahead.
And I was gonna say, I think what people mess up at is right, and we've done it too. And so, like, people will run marketing tactics of like a super discounted deal, right? It seems super low, and you buy one thing, right? But what people don't understand on the back end is that it's upsells, right? So so AOV, average order value, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
AOV.
Yeah.
I feel like I was about to mess it up, and then I said it right, and then it confused.
No, you got it right. Yeah.
Basically, most people order this amount. You want to try to increase that, right? You're trying to get as much of people out of that. So if it costs you $10 to get somebody to click, right, and you selling something for $12, you clearing $2, right? But if you add upsells, downsells to that, you're gonna clear 30, 100, whatever it is, the upsells and downsells, right? So it makes your value way higher, right? But people don't understand the back end of that. So they only see the first part of beats are really cheap. So it's like they seeing the very top of it, and they don't understand the whole funnel. So I think when other people see stuff like that and then they try to copy it, they're just going to the bottom because they don't understand.
Yeah, they copying the front end.
They don't understand that it's a whole funnel on the back end that's like upselling you and leading you to other products. And this is
building your list.
Yeah, it's a super thought out, because anybody that makes a funnel is a somewhat of a nerd, and they know marketing.
That's a fact.
Because it's not for the weak. Anybody that says click funnels, it's not for the weak. It's not fun. Trust me.
No.
We've made a lot of click funnel. It's not fun. So anytime you see somebody do that, they're trying to make money because they put a lot of work in that, because it ain't easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think that people who are leaders in the community, and this is part of my process for attempting to mend or repair something that may or may not be able to be mended or repaired, is our community has a toxicity in it. And I'll keep saying it. I don't care who don't like it or who think I may be saying it for whatever reasons. You have to acknowledge that there is a growing toxicity in our community. So fortunately and unfortunately, our community basically does things, just whatever is perceived as cool. That's what we do. Whenever something is perceived as corny, we stop doing that. And not only do we stop doing that, we chastise, shun, and ridicule anyone who's doing the corny thing. So to me, the community leaders and the people that people respect, first of all, they got to have all their ducks in a row and operate with integrity, and then start to change the perception and the narrative of what is cool and what is acceptable versus what is detrimental and unacceptable. And that, I think, would change a lot of things, but I don't really see or hear leaders in the community speaking out against that. And that post that Ilman did, that was a great first step. Right. More stuff like that. That was an idea. Yes, the awareness. That was an idea of how to head in the right direction, because we're going to do whatever is cool. But this whole undercutting, and you got to look at who you're buying from too, because now the consumers are confused.
Right.
You got to, number one, we have to educate the consumers, educate your customers, teach your customers how to do resume checks, teach your customer how to vet the people that they're copying stuff from. Teach your customers that bootlegging from people that bootleg from somebody that copied somebody is not the way. And that's going to kill the ecosystem. And once you start to paint that picture that we're all interconnected, and the more we continue the foolishness, the ecosystem is going to die. Now, I will say this, for people that have been in it as long as we have, established a fan base, my fan base and customer base is at least 10 years strong, right? So we got our list, we got our people. And not only do we have our people know our product. So we put out whatever, the people are going to copy it. The people are going to go to it because we've been vetted and we've shown. But now for people that get into it now, the consumer is just very confused.
Oh, yeah.
And you kind of got to start shining a light on these detrimental practices and these detrimental people and shunning them, for lack of a better word, and kind of get them out of here. Or else we're all just going to be wrestling in the mud, and the cream of the people that got their thing, they're going to keep going. And I happen to be one of those people, very fortunate to be one of those people. But at the same time, I'm a part of this ecosystem, and it's like living in a neighborhood. I don't want to see my neighborhood go down. I don't want to see crime in my neighborhood. This used to be a nice neighborhood. It was affluent. The best people live here. And now it's all types of BS going on in the neighborhood. So I just feel like we got to pull together and just make it so what is right is well received and, gets the accolades and the applause, and what is wrong gets the thumbs down, and you get the people out of here, for the people that are doing horrible practices. But I do think that post, shout out to Illmind, and also shout out to Producer Culture for reposting it and packaging it into that carousel. That was very accurate. But it is a big problem, because much like hip hop, it's literally a race to the bottom. It's all types of recycled stuff going on. I mean, I hear my stuff everywhere.
Oh yeah,
everywhere. And I'm like, nah, I do what I do against that. But as someone who puts in the time, who makes a snare, like I'm gonna make a snare. I'm not gonna steal a snare from you and then steal a snare from you. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna use this equipment, that equipment, with the integrity that it deserves. That's how we forward the culture. That's how we forward the taste. That's how we forward the quality. And also that's how we paint a good example for the new people coming in, because the new people coming in are seeing the people that came in, let's say after us, several rungs down. And there's very little integrity in the people that they are mimicking. And then if you see someone doing things like we do, I'm breaking out tape machines and I'm doing all of that. Well, man, I look like too much work. Well, I could just go ahead and take the spins rate away and add even more compression or distortion to it and call it my own, and then charge you a penny for it, versus making my own thing, making my own pack and charging you 30, 40, 50, 60, $70. You know what I mean? And setting a standard for what the prices are. Because once you set the standard for the products that you put out, you set a standard for what the consumer is conditioned to pay for things. But right now, the consumer is not conditioned to really pay for anything unless they've been privy to good quality. And the thing is, you would ask the question, and I'm not going to stay on this, why is it that with all the free stuff going on, do we still have consumers that pay our price for our stuff? Because they know the quality, because they've had a chance to get it. They appreciate it. They connect with us. They know the integrity that's put behind it. They know our resume. They know where we come from. It has to be a lot more of that instead of just free.
Have you are you familiar with this guy named Myron Golden? I feel like I brought him up
Yes,
before.
I am.
So
Black dude, right?
yeah, so I've been listening to a lot of him, right? And he was having this conversation about, and to me, this relates to everything, right? Because in hip hop and in production, we talk about I'm the best, but it's impossible to be cheap and the best. You can't be the best and cheap. It doesn't make sense. Because if I was to go up to you and try to sell you something and tell you that I'm the best that's doing it, but I'm also the cheapest, you wouldn't believe me. Because by me being the best, I should charge the highest. And it makes so much sense though. But if someone's telling me they're the best, but then they're charging way under, I'm like, dog, you're lying. Because if you're the best, you would be charging a premium price. So to me, it's like we have to think
your Dollar General.
Yeah, we have to think more of a luxury, like, and I don't want to say luxury, but we had to think more of an abundance kind of mindset rather than from scarcity. And I feel like a lot of the moves are from scarcity of like
desperation.
Yeah, it's like, and it's part of just the music business being so wild because there's no rules, so everybody's just trying to make it, which I get, right? So I understand it. People trying to survive, but also we gotta have some rules, bro. We gotta come together somewhere because this is gonna get crazy and it's not gonna be good for anybody.
You
Um,
have to set a standard, and there will always be bad actors who won't follow the standards, who will continue to try to undercut. But that's when you shine the light of this ain't the move on that crowd of people, and you kind of get them out of here, unless or else we're going to be left with trash. Because now even the things that people are copying and recycling from other people is trash,
that's right. That's
and
right.
that's wild. That's wild, bro.
Not the recycle. Not the recycle.
Recycled trash.
Busy Works Beats in the building. Shout out to my dog, man. Hey, congrats, my dog.
Busy, what up?
Pops. You know what I mean? Hope you had a good
Yes,
Father's Day, my
sir.
brother. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir. Congratulations, brother. Yes, sir.
And then DJ 912 says, can you give an example on work ethic? Ooh, that's a good question.
Yes. Okay. So in terms of what I was talking about earlier, I'm assuming that's what you were talking about. So when I say you can have an artist with what I would consider a lesser work ethic and an artist that has the great work ethic, like the ones I mentioned, they may work for the same amount of hours, but the artist with the better work ethic is doing more in their hours. For instance, in the let's just take the Justin sessions, 3-4 months. Now, with a newer artist, you may have a bunch of people in the studio, but a lot of people are operating on the quick, fast food, more of the same type of thing. Whereas like in the Justin Beyonce sessions, it's bringing in new musicians every day. How can this be better? How can this be better? How can this sound more authentic? How can this sound more premium? It's not just crank out more and more and more and more songs. It's how do we take these songs and make it better? How is this different? And this is the question that I heard, or the discussion I heard more than anything else. How is this different from what's out now? Or considering that these people are already multi-platinum, how can this be better than what I did before?
Sure.
Now, if you think about those people, you could easily get in there with anybody and crank out 1,000,000 songs and put them out quick, but they don't do that. They'll get in with superstar musicians, superstar writers, superstar this. Me being a like the primary sound designer on a lot of these projects, right? Mm-hmm. Even with me, I'm 500, 1,000 samples, drums, whatever, switching them out over and over and over again. How can we get better, 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 better? It doesn't seem to be that effort to get better. It doesn't seem to be that effort to differentiate. And it doesn't seem to be every thought based in integrity versus how can I get this out faster? How can I put out more music? How can I put out 5 albums this year? And they're really albums, but let me just call them mixtapes so they don't get judged as albums. Like it's a lot of downgraded thinking to produce more stuff. But the more stuff, everything that you're producing is based off of a downgraded Dollar General type of thing. And I've seen these people, and I've been part of it, where you'll hear a song, and it'll be the best damn song you ever heard in your life. Nah, that ain't it. Let's do more. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do that. And it may seem like overkill, or maybe seem like now, like, oh man, that's just doing too much. But look at the music it gave you. That music is still able to be played and still able to be performed to this day, versus you putting 1,000,000 hours in with the downgraded thinking, and everything that you worked all of those hours for, hot for 90 days.
Yeah, bro. I mean, just to touch on the work ethic thing, like, or if you can speak on, like, for example, when I first started working with Rico Love, right, we would go to the session, and him and me being in LA was the first time where people would work like a job. Like, before, I would just go to the studio and it'd be 3 a.m. and we would just stay up and be sleepy and making beats. There it was like, yo, 9 o'clock, we're gonna be at the studio. We're gonna do this time. And then after that, we're gonna make some beats. We're gonna come up with new ideas. I'm gonna write some hooks, then we're gonna comp vocals, and that's the day. But it was to-do lists, it was boards, it was like, it was so thought out of like, okay, we did these songs 2 weeks ago. Let's go back, let's touch them up. So we would just spend a day just touching up records we did 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're gonna switch the drums on all of these. These aren't finished. They're cool. They're great ideas, but they're not right. And it was thought out to where it's like, okay, we're not gonna let ideas go away, but we're gonna be as efficient as we can, and we're gonna keep working on certain ideas. And then if it's good, we're gonna send them out and get them shopped out. Because some of them will come naturally. Some will come in an hour and it would be done, but some would take a month, right?
Yep.
But just having that due diligence of like keeping up and having a system for doing that to me was like super eye opening. And I feel like
Yes.
most new producers don't have a system for that. They're not going back to stuff, and they're not learning from what they were doing previously. It's just like, let's just do stuff. And so when you're in situations where nobody's pushing you and you keep doing the same thing, I feel like it gets in this weird little loop. And
Yeah.
and I think a lot of that too, I mean, it sounds bad. Now, as much as I love the internet, I feel like the internet is kind of the blame, because I don't like making beats by myself. To me, I make worse beats by myself because I'm overthinking it. But if I'm making a beat with Oracle, I play a loop and he'd be like, ooh, or he make a face. I know that that's a vibe. I might have skipped it, right? Naturally, I might have skipped that. But when I see somebody else, I'm like, okay, that's something. All right, let me
Hmm.
go off of that. And then you follow that energy and it becomes a thing. But I think a lot of these little factors kind of change how music is made. Like that energy, you could tell a song to me that's made in the same room. It's different.
Yes.
Yeah, I could feel a song
Easily.
that's made because I don't know, it's a synergy to it. Like the production matches with the vocals, and it's like, to me, either you're doing a lot of post production to get that, or you're all in the same room, and it's hard to. I don't know. It's you could tell when it's like I just got a beat from the email and I'm rapping over it. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like it don't hit the same as like, yo, I'm in a room and this is gonna switch up, and this is like, you know what I mean? That production and people being produced is needed to get that product. And I think we got to be more producers. Like, yes, it's beat makers, producer. If you think the terms are the same, cool. But if you think it's the same, we all need to go more on that production side of coaching the
Hmm.
artist, and like that's part of our job. Just not emailing the beat, but like guiding the whole song. So yeah, it's the artists are difficult and that's not how it works, but we got to speak up and be like, yo, I want say on my record. This is my record too. I won't say on this too. You know what I
Well, a
mean?
lot of times producers don't even know that that thing is on the
Yeah.
album until a week before it come out or something like that. There has to be commitment. Think about it. Okay, but let's go further back. 2-inch tape days where people had to bring the tape to the studio and record with the other person, and the studio costs like $1 billion an hour.
Sure.
Well, here's the thing. That's a lot of commitment. That's a lot of budget. And if you flop something, you can't just put something else out in a week. No, no, no. You don't get to put nothing else out for 2, 3, 4 years.
Like, you got to
And you
earn
got to
that.
start all over again. So yeah, so not only are you carrying a million pounds of like physical stuff there and sitting in and locking in with the person, both of y'all are now committed to make sure that this really works. Versus if I send you 50 beats over an email and you just listen to them forever, and you're like, yo, send me another 50 beats, or you record to them because you can record so fast. It's no tape, it's no studio you got to go to, and you're like, I'm tired of these beats. I'm gonna get 50 more beats from somewhere else, and or I'm gonna just put these other ones out right now and call it a mixtape or whatever. It's not
Sure.
even my album, and I'm gonna get some. There's no commitment there. No one's invested. And another thing, like you said, we'll make something together, and I'll be like, ooh, or you'll be like, oh man, like a lot of the people that some of these people are bouncing ideas off of don't have integrity or experience.
Mm.
So it's kind of like a fast food person and another fast food person. Like, no, it's a good enough type of experience. Like, no, it's good enough. We should just go ahead and put this out because we could put it out. What's it, 11? We could put this out by 12:30.
But perfect example. I went to Carowinds right this past weekend when I was in Charlotte. So I took
Mm-hmm.
my daughter and all the whole family went out there. And our gripe with Carowinds was they had a bunch of kids working, right? And it was just their attitude. They didn't care if they were like helping. They just wanted to get through the day. It's like
Right.
I don't expect an 18-year-old to give me great customer service because they don't care enough, right? And it's like they just had an attitude of like, I'm just gonna get by. Whatever it is to get through the day, that's what it is. I'm just trying to make it. And that's what production is. It's like I'm trying to make it. I'm about to collect this little check that's about to come here. I'm about to do what I gotta
Mm-hmm.
do, and I gotta get out the way. I'm not about to do anything
Right.
extra that's going, which I understand in a way, but also to get to where you want to go, you have to do the extra intangible stuff. And I think that's where people miss out. I think people see the
Integrity.
parts. Yeah, they see the parts as like, oh, Future makes 1,000 songs and it looks easy. But yeah, Future's cousin is Rico Wade. Future grew up in the most musical, talented family. You know what I'm saying? And has been making records for 10 plus years. He's got 20, 30,000 hours of recording songs. So you trying to compare your life to his is wild. Are you trying to make beats like Southside when Southside been making beats since he's probably 12 years old and burning up Fruity Loops, dog? Like the idea that y'all on the same level is like, and it's not like a diss against people. I think when people think of like when I say you're not on the same level, somebody people take it as this, but it's like no, that's realistic. Like that's like me
It's
saying,
experience.
yeah, it's like me playing golf and I'm saying like, yo, I'm about to smoke Tiger. Like, no, I'm nowhere near, I'm not close to that level, right? So me understanding that is what's going to prepare me to get closer to that level. But kind of hiding that is what makes people never get better. And I think we got to be honest, like, bro, our music isn't up to par. So what do we do? You know what I mean? It's like Ilman brought up the conversation. We have to keep the conversation because now more people will be like, damn, is my shit up to par? And then, like,
right.
hopefully
And it's not. But you got to also have the like we're speaking out about it now. And a lot of people are going to take this the wrong way, but that don't matter because it's the truth. And you can't be afraid to speak out. If you really want to see change and you really want things to get better in this community or this community is going to die, you can't be afraid to speak out. Another thing about a lot of what's going on now, everybody's a get with. Everybody just, I want to be seen. I want to be liked. It's all about clout. Attention is the currency. So speaking out against what is the norm might get you looked at a certain type of way. But it's like, do you care or do you just want to fit in? Because at a certain point, the thing that you want to fit in to won't exist anymore. And before it doesn't exist anymore, it's not going to be worth fitting into anyway. It's going to be trash. And I guarantee you, the people with that mindset, once it's trash, they're going to say, oh, this is all trash. You know what I mean? The very thing you were trying to fit into, just because, I don't know, it's a herd mentality, but the herd is going in the wrong direction.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta wind down a little bit. I gotta get the kiddo to bed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the kiddo to bed and then I'm gonna go to the club. And bro, only reason I'm going to the club to network, bro. I realized you gotta shake some hands, bro. I've been
shake some hands and kiss some babies.
Bro, it's so weird how this game works, dog. Because I was doing the same thing and wasn't showing it, and then people didn't think anything of it. And then as soon as I start showing it, my phone started ringing like crazy. And it's like, bro, and this is transparency because we all like, I feel like we all friends.
We family. We cousins.
Right? And I'm not even doing anything, right? I just happen to know the guy that throws the party. And Nelly and Ashanti are right beside me. But because Nelly and Ashanti are beside me, everybody associated me with them, even though I don't even know Nelly or Ashanti. I mean, I've spoken to them. We've casually, you know what I'm saying? But it's not like
right.
them up. But for some reason, people seeing you next to somebody that's got money, they associate you with that. And then my phone rang 20 times more, which is the weird, to me, I couldn't wrap my mind around it because I didn't do anything. I literally just was standing there. But for other people, they love that. So I realized I'm not no fool. If I realize that I got 500 views off of standing next to somebody in the club and I got the politic, bro, guess what I'm about to do? I'm about to do the same. You know what I mean? So, if the universe is showing you the game, guys, play the game. But, be out here, network, shake some hands, go to the club, pull up on people. Especially, bro, I'm going to tell you, this is the last thing I'm going to say. I've been trying to get certain things done business-wise, and music people are slow. So you have to pull up on them. Because if you try to text and email, if they busy, it ain't going to happen. So what I do, I'm pulling straight up. I go straight to where I know you at. We on that. Hey, let me buy you a drink. Hey, remember that thing we supposed to talk about? Hey. All right, cool.
Right.
I'm good. And I go home after that. You know what I mean? So when y'all see me in the club, just know I'm on a mission, bro. I'm out here politics.
Old school rules still work.
Oh, bro. To me, it's the best, bro. I done got more. It's crazy because I'm an Instagram like networker. But I've gotten in this past couple months, I've gotten more off of just pulling up on people than anything. That's been really what's been making the difference of like, it's just like showing up. Because I feel like on Instagram, everybody's competing to show up in the feed. But in real life, it's like, yo, you there, bro. Like, You know, you can't avoid it. You can't swipe away from that.
Yeah. Okay. Bet. Okay. I think I got like two more quick topics. Real quick, one thing I've been seeing a lot too is online people burning bridges that aren't even built yet.
Yeah, that's wild.
So because of the technology and because of the internet, and I guess because of the current mindset of people are talking crazy out here.
They be talking spicy.
Go ahead.
It's easy to talk spicy on the internet because I feel like we all go through a phase of talking, especially you do a podcast. I feel like if people remember the original podcast, we was wilding. Do you know what I mean? But you learn how to like keep it and balance it out after a while. But I feel like on the internet, bro, it's like hot ones. It's spicy out here, bro.
Not everybody who is somebody plays the internet game. So what I've been seeing, and I know a lot of those people, I am friends with them on the internet. So the average person, because we kind of tend to see the artist or the whoever's in the forefront, but there are a million jobs and a million people under that. And I've seen some people that I follow, and they'll post something or just say something, nothing too crazy. And people, for no reason, will just say the wildest shit under their comments, just totally disrespectful for no reason. Of course, fake accounts or just somebody with 2 followers. It's just something real wild. And I'm like, yo, you don't even know who you're talking to. A lot of people out here talking crazy about and to people who are them. And like these people are you look up to this person you don't even know, or the people that you look up to this person. And for whatever reason, and I guess it just shows the true mindset of not humanity, but some humans. You could have said anything in the world to this person or nothing at all. And you chose to say the most disrespectful thing you could possibly say, not knowing that this person is that person who could have changed your life. I've seen that 4 times in the last 7 days. I mean, people who change lives. 2 of them have changed my life, but people don't know who they are. And they'll just say something regular, nothing crazy or controversial. And people just, one of the worst words that has come about in the last few years is cap.
Oh, yeah.
People will say something that makes so much sense or be coming from a place of, and I know their experience. They got the experience and they change lives. They'll say one thing that is the absolute truth. Somebody will say cap. And then a million people will pile on.
And I don't like
on to that
explanation. You can see if you say cap and then you give a reason, I respect it. But you have to have a reason for it. But most people can't express their comments well. So it's like if someone disagrees with me and they have a logical point, I'm with it. Hey, bro, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, respect.
Make a point, though.
Yeah, make a point, though. But don't just say, but people just, bro, they go on the internet. And I think what it is people want attention so bad to get that person's attention. Because, bro, I've gotten it on small, bro, I feel like on the Instagram sphere, I'm like a small fraction, right? So I don't know what fame is compared to other people, right? But I've had people like message me dumb stuff. And then when I was like, check them, they like, oh, bro, I was just playing. I was just trying to.
I was just playing. Bro, I was just playing.
It happens so many times. And I'm like, bro, now I'm annoyed at you. Now I would never do anything with you. I'll never.
Are you blocked?
Yeah.
You blocked. The most passive aggressive behavior is what's taking the forefront right now. And the most egregious thing I saw this week was somebody posted something. They didn't really respond to a bunch of comments. And somebody just said cap underneath of that, just for no reason. Because the person, it wasn't even debatable whether they were telling the truth or not. And the person responded to him with an explanation, not with sauce. The person who made the disrespectful comment was like, why are you getting triggered? You're triggered now. And I'm like, that was your goal the entire. Now, keep in mind, this person is them. The other person doesn't know that.
Right.
And so now I guess your whole goal was to trigger the person. And then on top of that, somebody else chimes in. I said something positive to you and you didn't respond to me. You responded to the negative person. And so they go in And then everyone piles on to the original poster because they didn't respond to the positive comments and they responded to the triggered comments. So now this person has to deal with the one person that tried to trigger them, and then everybody else who was positive
They
that is
mad
now
now.
bandwagoning. And I'm like,
It's
what
tough.
the hell is going? And this person, bro, when I tell you they are them, they are them.
Oh, I believe it. It's tough though, because it's like you have to address the negative sometimes, because if not, people gonna keep trying you. So at
The
some
narrative gonna keep going. Yeah.
yeah, at some point you gotta stand up for yourself. And a lot of bro, perfect example. Early in the podcast, people we would get all these trolls. You know what we'd do? We'd talk trash right back.
Oh,
Because
oh,
people don't want to talk trash to me and Oracle because they know we both smart. So we both,
oh,
if I can't think
come
of a
with it.
roast, he's gonna think of something before. Bro, it's you don't want those problems, right? So having me and Oracle roasting you in the chat, you don't want it because it's attention you don't want because we're gonna be good at it. So
Right.
you have to kind of address it sometimes, but then you got to be careful. But like you said, with the positive ones, you got to make sure you showing them love because then they gonna feel slighted. And community is
Yeah.
tough, bro. Like I learned that community and managing that thing, it's tough, bro. Like it's a lot of little unwritten rules to that. And I feel like at the internet, man, people don't be realizing. People will comment first, thought later, and
Yeah.
you got to be careful how you maneuver around it.
I don't get the passive aggressive behavior. I don't come from that. I come from a pre-internet time where if you said something to a person, 9 times out of 10, you were there, or the person knew who you were and you had to deal with the consequences. And it wasn't as simple as being passive aggressive, like I was just playing. Like you said, people, oh man, I was just playing. You're getting punched in the face for that. Or, just there are going to be repercussions. But the thing about triggering, just purposely trying to trigger people and then going in on them double because they were triggered by the thing, I'm like,
Yeah,
this is wild. Wild, no accountability though, because
right.
you're behind an account that doesn't have a face and all that. But like I said, you could have said something positive or you could have just kept it pushing, but you chose to play the game. And a lot of people are choosing to play the game because there are no consequences. And I think that's going to grow. And that's something that's very detrimental, not to the internet community as a whole, but more specifically in our community.
Right.
And it's a dangerous game. And even if you can't be held accountable, I don't know, it affects the whole thing in a horrible way because people won't say things anymore, or I don't know. It's just not a positive outcome, and it's fairly early in that type of passive aggressive behavior. But the whole passive aggressive thing in our community, it has to stop.
I feel like people be weird about giving like acknowledgement, like giving props. Like I don't write negative comments, bro. Like if it's negative,
Never.
I don't think I've ever
I
really
say nothing.
unless somebody writes it on mine, it's not negative. If I'm writing on
Yeah.
somebody else's comment, bro, it's always positive. Because if not, I don't want to follow. I don't want to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't have time to argue with somebody on Instagram. It's like, bro, I don't have time for that. It's like if we either making money, we building, like what are we doing, bro? But arguing on Instagram and making weird comments for no reason, it's like that doesn't do anything for me. And I don't know where these troll people got like the idea of like this is how you get attention. Like
Never been punched in the face.
I've never heard of anybody that's like, yo, you know who I got this placement? I annoyed the hell out of Metro Boomin. Like, it's never gonna happen, dog. I got this number one from annoying this nigga, dog. It's never gonna
Right.
happen. It's nobody's ever gonna say that because he's gonna get annoyed and block you. And then every time he sees your name, he's gonna think of, oh, that's that annoying dude. Because every person I don't like, I remember it vividly, bro. I remember
And you tell other people.
bro, every time, dog. Anytime it's bad business or people do weird, I remember it and I'm like, oh, stay away from them. And bro, people call around. You think Busy don't call when somebody's like he knows that we know somebody, or you think we not calling Busy?
Me and you all the time.
Bro, people call around, so you have to be careful about how you treat people and make sure you show respect to people. Because these people I don't like, bro, but I still respect them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's people that
Yeah.
and people know that I don't like them, but I respect it because I respect the game. You know what I'm saying? So I keep it peak, you know what I mean? And I keep it pushing.
Yeah.
Because it's a
But
business,
one,
a small business. You know what I mean? And you never know who, bro. It's so many people that were at the bottom or on top now, and you think they don't remember all them people that was like talking trash? Oh, they remember all that. So That's how you get messed up, man. That's how you get blackballed out the business. Is you making enemies on the way up, and then when it's your turn, it's gonna be bad.
Burning bridges that aren't built yet. And the thing is, these people, if they don't already, are going to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you're going to teach your kids. Either you're going to lie to your kids or your kids are going to mimic that. And that's where it's really detrimental. So, now everybody in here is a crowd. And we know the people in here. So it's not really those people in here, but I had an analogy, but it might be a little too deep for this. So I'm not gonna say it. But the thing is, the passive aggressive thing, I don't know where we got it from. But that really gotta stop, because the whole triggering people just to trigger them, like you said, it never worked for anybody. Yeah, no one was like you said, Metro supposed to be someone was like, yo, that's trash. And then they respond and be like, yo, I'm just playing. And based off that, I got a great relationship with Metro, and now I got a placement with him.
Come on,
Yeah.
yo, that was a good insult.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Yeah.
good.
I like your style, kid.
It had to be a good insult. If someone gave me a real creative, like I could tell they were funny, then it would be. But it would have to be good. It would have to be like points, like top tier.
I'm about to say I'm gonna type points and I'm gonna keep it moving.
Yeah, it ain't. But
yeah,
invite to the studio, bro. If people was at the producer power something, and if this dude is in the chat, hey, bro, I'm sorry, but perfect example. When Busy had that show in New York and we flew out, it was a guy who took my Polaroid camera and took a picture with it without asking me, and it was my last Polaroid. I remember that dude's face. I remember, bro. I was so annoyed. And
I remember that
$2 Polaroid, right? So it ain't about the money. It was just the fact that he did it, and every time I would see him, I'd be like, he would DM me.
And you told me about him.
I'm gonna give you this advice, but I don't want to. That's how I felt every time I seen him. So it's like, bro, and that was little. And of course, I'm joking. It's like it ain't that serious, but like, I remember that. So telling you, be careful of how you approach stuff online and how you network, because people remember this stuff, and you don't want to be the dude that's the asshole. Like, you want to be known for like, this dude is a good vibe, because that's how you get far. I'm a good vibe. People want me around. If I'm in the studio, people don't trip because they know I know how to handle myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got homies.
That's a fact.
And perfect example. I brought a homie around Oracle, and he did not know how to act. And every time I brought him, every time I brought him around someone, he did not know how to act. You know what I'm saying?
He did.
And it's like, you had to. And so now I always, he would hit me up like, yo, can I come to see it? Bro, I can't do it. I can't do it, because he just didn't understand it, bro. And he meant good, and he was trying to be good, but he just was overbearing, and it's too much. And it's like, it's a studio etiquette. It's a music etiquette out here that you got to learn. And it's like playing golf. Like, nobody's going to teach you. You got to cover up these little divots, and you're not supposed to drive your cart, all through the grass. You're supposed to drive on the side and then cut across when you get to your spot, right? It's stuff that is etiquette. You got to learn from playing the game. You can't, but nobody's just going to be showing you. It's like, you got to pick up through the game. So, remember those.
At no point on the course, though, do you drive your course past somebody playing a hole and be like, yo, you suck. And just keep it pushing and think that you and that person may be the CEO of a great business, whatever, and they're looking for a person that does what you do, but you'll never be that person, because you could have kept going, or you could have said something nice, but you chose to yell, you suck. And that's kind of what is happening on the internet now. And also, those people, you could tell that they never, in their mind, they don't envision themselves making it. Mm-hmm. You can't possibly envision yourself making it while exhibiting this behavior. So you might as well just give up and get out the way. Get off the course. You know what I'm saying?
That's fact.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Let me read the comments real quick, and then we're gonna get up off here. IDK, my brother. What up, man? Shout out to IDK, man. Long time no talk, my brother. Hope you're doing well. Fiction. Yes, sir. Shout out to Fiction. Fiction been on the Twitters and the social.
Yes, sir. Young Fiction doing her thing.
Yeah, she's going crazy. Shout out. MG the Future. What up, man?
Yo, snap, MG. What up, bro? Yo. Oh, yeah. Great content, family. Great content. Been following you for a while. Great content, brother.
Yo, shout out to you, my dog. Grind Lab, appreciate you. He said, so glad y'all back. So we back, man. I've kind of got my life a little more soft. So we gonna be consistent. We're gonna be here, even though Oracle had to call me and remind me. He's like, 6 o'clock about to come up.
Hey, man, we knew we got to knock the dust off the boots.
But we here. So you'll start seeing, if you see the clips on Instagram and stuff, help you boys out. We back. We about to start dropping mad clips. We got some good clips tomorrow. We're gonna post, and you know how we do. We about
Yes,
to turn
sir.
up with the content. We got some upgrades to the setup. I've been trying to get done. They just haven't been working. Um, it's crazy. We done
We'll
try
get
for
there.
like 2
We'll get
weeks.
there.
Yeah, we done try for 2 weeks and then keep getting L's, but we gonna figure it out. And the setup is gonna look incredible. We got some guests that we about to have come on here. So we about to turn it up, man. So I
Yeah.
appreciate y'all, man.
Great comment from DJ 912. He could say, he says, but you could tell your packs hit different. The sounds don't sound like uh
Jim down the
Jim
road.
down the road. And that's a fact. But now the thing is, the consumer may be newer consumers may be confused, because once you get 2, 3, 4 packs from different people and they're all the same thing of lesser quality, now you think that is the pack world. And it's not, but see, once again, I talked about the people that's been down with us that know quality, that have you're one of those people. But we definitely appreciate it, and we definitely gonna keep pushing, because like you said, we got people like you and everybody else in the room. So we good. We just trying to look out for the future.
Bad. All right,
Yeah.
y'all. So we will be back next Wednesday, 6:00.
Yes, sir.
That's been the time it's been working. So we're gonna
Yeah,
stick to
6 is cool.
Yeah. So if y'all got questions, we got some sections coming up, and I got some cool ideas. Maybe we start doing some. Oh, I was about to say the idea, and I ain't even talked to Oracle about it. I was just about to throw it.
I'm like, what we gonna do? What we gonna do?
But yeah, we got some cool stuff coming up. So we'll definitely keep y'all posted.
Yes, sir. So once again, it's been another episode of UnQuantized Podcast.